On Saturday of Holy Week, the day after Jesus died on the cross, the day before the disciples discovered that he was risen from the dead, everything is at rest. This took place in the nation of Israel. Saturday is Shabbat. And on the Sabbath, for the most part, even today, in Jewish neighborhoods, cities, everything stops. Businesses are closed. No public transportation is running. It's a day even for secular Jews to spend in quiet relaxation with their families. Not everybody does, but many do. This particular Saturday, Jesus has died. His body was taken down off the cross by loving hands, washed, anointed with spices, wrapped in burial clothes, and placed in a tomb, again, by loving hands. The stone to the tomb was closed. The entrance was closed with the big rolling stone. By order of the authorities, it was sealed and a guard was posted. And everything is at rest. Jesus is out of sight. And from the disciples' point of view, King Jesus is dead and all is lost. From their perspective, it seems that evil has won. It seems that the Satan has triumphed over God. It seems that the kingdom of God has been defeated. It appears that God is dead. And because of that, the disciples are grieving deeply. I spent about 10 years of my life as a hospital and hospice chaplain. I've been around a lot of deaths. I've seen a lot of grief. I've experienced personal grief. My oldest son committed suicide when he was in high school. I've lost my father and my mother. I've lost friends. I've lost positions. I've lost reputation. All of these losses produce within us grief. Do we truly know how to grieve? All of us go through losses, and therefore all of us from time to time must grieve. All of us must from time to time recognize that our feelings are neither right nor wrong, they just are. When people tell us to just get over it or stop crying or pull ourselves together, they are doing us a disservice. We need to feel our feelings. Too many people run for medication or run to cover those feelings with activities or whatever. We need to feel them. We need to know that it's perfectly normal when we've experienced a loss to feel a deep sense of sadness. It's perfectly normal at times to feel waves of intense anger, to feel periods of denial where the whole thing just seems unreal to us, feels like a bad dream. It's normal to go through a time of spiritual angst, of religious deconstruction, of confusion. All of these things are very normal. We don't need to run from them. In fact, we should not. We need to go through them. Sometimes, I think most of the time, if the loss is deep, we need help going through them. Oftentimes, we need a hand to hold. During those times when we are not grieving, we need to remember that other people are, and that others need us. And during those times, it's time to simply be there. You don't have to say anything. People say, I just don't know what to say. Don't say anything. In fact, it's better if you don't. Just offer love. Squeeze a hand. Give a hug. Shed a tear. Just simply be there with the grieving person. And recognize that that grieving person needs help doing some practical things. When you, for example, have lost a loved one, the everyday things like doing the dishes, making supper, mowing the lawn, getting the clothes washed and folded and put away, all those everyday sorts of things, they seem overwhelming when you're in a deep state of grief. And when we're grieving, it doesn't help for people to call and say, call me if you need anything, I'm here for you. I mean, that's okay, but we're not going to call. Instead, when someone you care about is grieving, look for ways that you can be of practical help. Don't ask, just go mow the lawn. Don't ask, just make dinner and take it over. Put it in meal-sized containers so it can be frozen and used at a later time if necessary. Just drop by and do the laundry. Wash the dishes. You don't have to say anything. Just be there. The disciples on Holy Saturday were forced to just stop and be. All is quiet. Jesus is out of sight. They think he's dead. There's nothing they can do about it. They can't fix this situation. There are times similar to that in our lives, where something's happened, it's causing grief to ourselves, to others, and we can't fix it. So just stop and be there. Sit with it. Let it be. Now, looking back on the Holy Saturday, we can piece together some scriptures which seem to indicate that after Jesus died on the cross, he descended into Sheol or Hades or paradise, the abode of the dead. the resting place for those who have departed from this life. And it seems that he went there and proclaimed the good news. Sin has been defeated. Death has been defeated. Resurrection is here. It's coming. New life. Fellowship with the living God forever and ever and ever. All sin is gone. All sorrow is gone. Death itself has died. Jesus said to the repentant thief who died on the cross next to him, "This day you'll be with me in paradise." So looking back, we can piece together that that was what's going on with Jesus. But put yourself, if you can, in the shoes of the disciples. All those women and men who loved him so dearly and now have lost him so tragically. And feel their grief, feel their pain. And recognize that all that grief and pain was necessary in order to redeem the universe. You see, Jesus did not just die on the cross in order to forgive a handful of people so that they could be evacuated off the earth and live in heaven. He died on the cross to redeem the entire cosmos. All of creation is agonizing and groaning, longing for that full redemption to come, when all will be resurrected, when the kingdom of God will come to earth, when earth and heaven will be wed, when righteousness will cover the earth as the waters cover the sea, when wolves and lambs will lie down together. On the cross, Jesus redeemed all of creation, including people from the past, people in the present, and people in the future. Animals and birds and plants and insects and planets and galaxies. He redeemed it all. All things are made new. Everything has changed.